Now once I've determined that my least common denominator is going to be 12, what I can do is I can come back and I can look at each of these denominators. We might call it a technique of inspection. So I'll inspect these two denominators. I'll say, okay, what do I need to do to the 4 to make it into 12? Another way to say that is what factor is missing from this denominator that would create the least common denominator that we want. So what I will do is I'll take the missing factor, which is 3, and I'll construct a form of 1, which is the 3 over 3, and I'll multiply it by the first fraction. I still need to add the second fraction, and what I'll have, by order of operations, the multiplication has to be done first. So of 9 over 12. I'm going to add it to 1 over 12. So I'll come up with 10 over 12. And I'm not quite done yet. I need to look at this for an extra second and see if there's anything I can do to reduce it, and there is. I can factor out a 2 from the numerator and the denominator, so my answer will be 5, 6. Like that. Now there was another option in trying to work this problem, and that I sometimes refer to as a brute force method. Essentially, if I took the two fractions, 3/4 and 1/12, and I just did a multiplication like this, I'll have 12 over 12 times 3/4. I'll add it to 4 over 4 times 1/12. In this case, I've constructed forms of 1 out of the other denominator. And this will lead me to the right answer, but it gets really, really messy when we have variables involved. When there are only numbers involved, it's not quite as messy, but there's still some extra reducing that needs to happen. So in this case, I'll end up with 36 over 48 added to 4 over 48. So my answer is going to be 40 over 48. And so I have to look at this for a minute and say, well, I can factor out, let's say, I could definitely take out a 2 because both of them are even. I could take out a 4. Let's see how far we can go. Can I take an 8 out of both? I think I can. So I end up with 5 over 6. But you might be able to tell that that was a little bit of a longer process trying to figure out what I could reduce 40 over 48 with. And also, when the numbers get larger, this denominator can get very large and very unwieldy. So this method does work if you have no other choice. So we'll label it brute force.